So things just keep getting worse and worse and worse for JD Vance. He is the laughing stock of the internet. Apparently, a poll came out the other day. He is the most disliked VP pick in decades and decades and decades. I'm talking Dan Quayle, who was notoriously bad, polled way better than him. Sarah Palin, who ended up being a horrific pick, polls way better than him at the beginning. So it ain't looking good. Now, as I told you guys before, the people who had input with Trump on picking JD Vance, oh, it's glorious. Apparently, it was Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, and Don and Eric. They're the ones who twisted his arm. He wanted Doug Burgum. And he was going to pick Doug Burgum, but then at the last minute, according to the reporting, you had Don and Eric just absolutely lashed out and were yelling at him. And he relented. He was like, okay, well, if I got you guys telling me this, and I have Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson, who he views in high esteem, then I'll go in that direction. Well, boy, oh boy, Don, do they have the worst political instincts of all time. Because even at face value, he doesn't really help the ticket. He comes from Ohio. You're guaranteed to win Ohio. It's not a swing state. I don't know what you're doing. What does he bring to the ticket? He's totally boring, totally uncharismatic, super weird, way too online, as some people are now calling him. They're saying he's the Ron DeSantis of Ohio. And yes, it gives me those vibes. So bunch of new things about him dropped over the weekend. I want to walk you through it. So let's start with this one. Okay, this is in Raw Story. Quote, I hate the police. JD Vance railed at cops in bombshell email release from friend. Interesting. At the same time, Donald Trump is flooding his Truth Social account with sketchy reports that Vice President Kamala Harris wanted to defund the police. She is a cop. She is a cop. And to her record, the thing that the lefties criticize her for is being too tough on crime, right? And you're saying, oh, she's really weak on crime. She hates the police, even though she is one. Okay, anyway. When she was questioning where the funding should go, comes from the New York Times that Senator J.D. Vance was once a fierce critic of cops, going so far as to claim he hated them. In emails and texts obtained by the Times from Vance's longtime friend, Sophia Nelson, in 2014, the newly anointed GOP vice presidential nominee railed at the police after the shooting of 18-year-old black teen Michael Brown by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. As the Times is reporting, Nelson wrote to Vance about the shooting that left Brown dead and suggested all police should wear body cameras, which led Vance to complain about police conduct. He wrote to Nelson, quote, I hate the police. Given the number of negative experiences I've had in the past few years, I can't imagine what a black guy goes through. The report notes that the earlier version of Vance showed some enthusiasm for reparations, writing to Nelson, quote, I have at least been convinced of the virtue of compensating modern victims who've suffered redlining or denial of federal benefits. So, look, you read this, and this is something where, the lefties will go, okay, all right, man, I see you. But the issue here is probably the one group of people who are still all in for Vance and fighting for him relentlessly online, his base, they're the ones who are going to look at this and go, excuse you? Oh, hell no. Now I know I shouldn't even trust you because this is right against their ideology. Okay, so this is the most minor of the things that we're going to talk about. Let's continue here. Why J.D. Vance is being dogged by couch memes and struggling in general. So, guys, this has been all over the internet. This idea that J.D. Vance fucks couches. Now, I gotta admit, when I first saw it, I don't understand. I saw like a video where there was like some Barry White music or something playing, and it showed J.D. Vance's face and then a couch and then J.D. Vance's face again and then another couch. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then as the days went on, I was like, oh, people are saying that he fucks couches. What's going on here? So we're going to see if we can figure out the genesis of this. Here we go. Nearly 2 weeks after former President Donald Trump selected J.D. Vance as his running mate, it's safe to say the Ohio politician is struggling. His polling is the worst of any non-incumbent vice presidential nominee in decades. His years-old comments about childless cat ladies, more on that in a little bit, by the way, have drawn widespread disgust. Some in Trump's orbit worry they've made the wrong choice. In recent days, he's been the target of a baseless rumor that he once had sex with a couch. It was always clear that Vance brought little to the table, strictly electorally speaking. He does not represent a swing state. He does not diversify the ticket, and the selection of a MAGA true believer does not reassure more Trump skeptic voters. He was the choice of a campaign that was brimming with confidence. President Joe Biden had not yet dropped out of the race, and Trump's team likely made the choice with the idea that it did not need the boost that other vice presidential contenders could have brought to the ticket, choosing instead to select an heir to the MAGA movement. What was less predictable were the significant headwinds that Vance is now encountering as the GOP's vice presidential nominee, which have been driven by the way he's talked about certain policies and enabled by the simple fact that most Americans are just now learning who he is. They go on to explain that it all started with a shit post. Some dude tweeted that in his book, his 2016 autobiography, Vance's 2016 autobiography, Hillbilly Elegy, on pages 179 to 181, he explains how he fucked a couch. Now, guys, I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but that's actually not true. It is not in page 179 to 181 of his autobiography that he fucked a couch. That was made up. Okay, it was made up. It was made up. But it took off like wildfire, bro. It took the lefties are memeing their asses off right now. I'm not kidding. This is the only thing I've seen comparable to this is like 2015, 2016 era rise of Donald Trump stuff where the far right was memeing like crazy and basically memeing Trump's ass into the White House. We're seeing something that kind of looks like that now on the liberal and on the leftist side, where they're just having fucking fun online and saying whatever and throwing shit against the wall, and it took off like crazy, bro. So this is where it gets even more funny. So after somebody posted that and it took off like wildfire, the Associated Press decided to fact check the claim. They posted an article that said something like, no, J.D. Vance doesn't fuck couches. And if you were to Google J.D. Vance's name for like a day or two there, that's the first thing that comes up is that AP article saying, no, he doesn't fuck couches. And then they decided, look, this didn't go through our normal vetting process. We're going to pull the article down. But by pulling the article down, of course, now people are going to go, why did they pull the article? Does he fuck couches? Did they prove that wrong? Do we now know he indeed does fuck couches, which is why they pulled it down? Because they were factually wrong when they said he didn't fuck couches? Oh my God, this is just getting worse and worse and worse for him, bro. This is getting worse and worse and worse for him. Okay, so then we get to the Childless Cat Lady comment. Now that's, to be fair, that's an older comment. It wasn't when he was vice president. It's from back when Tucker was on Fox News. I don't know how many years ago it was. And he made this comment about how, like, he said, we're run by corporate oligarchs. True, JD, go on. And then he says, yes, the Childless Cat Ladies. Okay, I'm willing to bet less than 5% of our corporate oligarchs are childless cat ladies. It's probably less than 2%. What are you talking about? Oh my, it's classic, like, fake populist, like, yeah, I'm looking out for the little guy, bro. And then you immediately do a bait and switch, and instead of attacking the actual corporate oligarchs, you just substitute that with whatever group you view as lefty, right? Childless cat women vote Democrat, therefore they're the problem in this country. Okay, so that comment took off, and everybody was shitting on him for it. Now, why would you shit on him for that comment? Guys, it's very simple. In that same comment, he basically disrespected everybody that's not married. The standard, right-wing version of the American dream. One man, one woman, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, one dog. And so he managed to piss off single men, single women, stepmoms and stepdads, because apparently stepmoms and stepdads don't count, according to J.D. Vance. And it's just, you're throwing your middle finger up to gigantic swaths of the population, and so the population is going to fight back and say, fuck you, man. Who the fuck are you to come after us? But guess what? Oh, we'll get to that one in a second, because I want to show you him doubling down on the Childless Cat Lady comment. So he goes on Megyn Kelly's show trying to clean it up, and he makes it worse.
And I explicitly said in my remarks, despite the fact the media has lied about this, that this is not about criticizing people who, for various reasons, didn't have kids. This is about criticizing the Democratic Party for becoming anti-family and anti-child. We have to ask ourselves, Megyn, why do we have...
The Democratic Party is anti-family and anti-child. Hey, J.D. Vance, which party supports paid family leave? Which party supports paid sick leave? Which party extended the child tax credit? Oh, that's right. On all of those policies and more, the Democrats have led the way. Now, maybe sometimes you get a Josh Hawley or J.D. Vance to say, okay, I'm going to also vote for whatever, maternity leave or paid family leave or whatever. But it's like over 90% of the Democrats support those policies and have voted in line with those policies. And like fewer than 3% of Republicans have done it. So spare me, because if we're having an honest conversation, the real takeaway would be, damn, all of these elected Republicans, or certainly over 95% of them, are against families because they don't, do any policies that would help families financially.
Masking of toddlers years after the pandemic ended. Why do we have the Harris campaign coming out this very morning, Megyn, and saying that we should not have the child tax credit, which lowers tax rates for parents of young children?
Nobody said that. Literally nobody said that. In fact, it was the Democrats who got us that. He lies about Kamala, by the way. He said it in a different interview, and he's like, she called for repealing the child tax credit. No, the fuck she didn't. No, the fuck she didn't.
Become anti-family and anti-kid. And I'm proud to stand up for parents. And I hope that parents out there recognize that I'm a guy who wants to fight for you. I want to fight for your interests. I want to fight for your stake in the country. And that is what this is fundamentally about. The Democrats in the past 5-10 years, Megyn, they have become anti-family. It's built into their policy. It's built into the way they talk about parents and children. And it's time that we called that out. I don't think we should back down from it, Megyn. I think we should be honest about the problem.
So in other words, he doubles down. This is him doubling down. And again, what he's saying is objectively, factually false. The party, for all of their problems, the party that supports families more in the sense that they improve the material conditions for those families, it's the Democrats over the Republicans. It's not even fucking close. It's not remotely close. So he's just wrong. He's wrong on the substance of it. And again, he goes back to, well, fuck the Democrats, and I'm here to defend the parents. Except that means you're saying fuck single people, and that means you're saying fuck the stepmoms and the stepdads, as he basically did previously, because apparently if the kids are not biologically yours, it doesn't count. You're not actually a parent to him. Okay, well, good luck with that campaign, bro. Good luck with that campaign. Letting gigantic swaths of the country know that you're writing them off from the jump. All right. So that didn't go very well for him, basically doubling down on it. Then we get this. Okay. So J.D. Vance tweets, this is on February 17, 2024. He says, maybe the internet was a mistake. And as you can see here, he took a screen capture of this. At Crazy Clips, woman gets violated by a dolphin and enjoys it. Now, you might look at this and say, well, I don't see the problem here because he's saying this is bad. This clip is bad. He's not saying the woman getting violated by a dolphin is good. Here's the problem. You see the bold letters? There's bold letters for woman, and it's bold letters for dolphin. What that means is he did a keyword search of woman, dolphin. And that's how he found the clip. Hey, JD, why are you doing a keyword search for woman and dolphin? Care to explain? Now, look, it's possible that he saw this clip come across his timeline, and then sometimes Twitter will like automatically refresh and that clip will go away. And so he wanted to find it to say, hey, the internet was a mistake. This is bad, right? So he had in his mind when he first saw it, I got to say this goes too far. That's possible. Or it's possible he just searched woman dolphin. Did you have fun with that clip, JD? Did you have fun with that clip, buddy? People want to know. People want to know. And then we also have this. Again, he just keeps the hits coming, man. He keeps the hits coming. So this is one of Kamala Harris's, like, their team's account. And it's not hard to find J.D. Vance supporting any number of extreme policies. Like, he's ride or die for Project 2025, which is just, all of the worst possible right-wing ideas put together in an amalgamation into one. And here's him parroting one of those policies. Listen to this.
Okay, look, here's a situation. Let's say Roe versus Wade is overruled. Ohio bans abortion, in 2022 or let's say 2024. And then, every day George Soros sends a 747 to Columbus to load up disproportionately black women to get them to go have abortions in California. And of course, the left will celebrate this as a victory for diversity. That's kind of creepy,
health justice is only exterminate working class black people.
Something like that could. That would be a really weird turn of events that could happen.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it's like if that happens, do you need some federal response to prevent it from happening? Because it's really creepy. And I'm pretty sympathetic to that, actually.
So in other words, let me break that down for you. He wants a federal abortion ban, and he wants to ban it for people right now who live in a red state who can't get an abortion for almost any reason. I think 14 states have a total ban, near total ban. He wants to ban it for somebody in a red state to travel to a blue state to get the reproductive health care they want and need. It doesn't get any more extreme on abortion than that, bro. It doesn't. He wants a national abortion ban, which, by the way, is not what Trump is even saying right now. Trump is saying, hey, the original position is my position, overturn Roe v. Wade, leave it to the states. That's what Trump's saying. Now, whether or not you believe him is a separate question. But J.D. Vance is saying, no, I am to the right of that. I'd like to ban abortion nationally and also right now make it so somebody who's in a red state with restrictive abortion policies cannot go to a blue state to get an abortion. So banning traveling across state lines, which, by the way, also would be massively unconstitutional, but they don't give a fuck about the Constitution when it butts up against their ideology. Duh, that's how they are. Okay, so we'll end on this one right here. So this was reported in The Hill. One House Republican on the J.D. Vance pick, quote, he was the worst choice of all the options. It was so bad, I didn't even think it was possible. This is a House Republican. These people are not known for having the best political instincts. And even the House Republicans are like, bro, it can't get any worse. This guy, I mean, you want to talk about, you just have to do a cursory search into homie's past and homie's political positions, and you will walk away wincing and cringing and face-palming and saying, no way. This guy should be nowhere near power. And that's apart from all of the surface level things like being deeply, deeply uncharismatic, like barely eking out a victory in what was supposed to be a red wave year and underperforming other Republicans all over the fucking place. Total donor creation. It's funny he pretends to be a populist. He needed Trump's endorsement and a shitload of donor money to get across that finish line. And look, he makes it easy for Democrats are having a field day with J.D. Vance. Now, the funniest thing, and again, we'll end on this here, is I guarantee you Trump is thinking about dumping him. There's already been some whispers of that Trump knows, oh my God, why would I ever listen to Don and Eric and Elon and Tucker? Why? Why would I do that? They don't know shit about shit. Trump, for all of his flaws, it is fair to say in 2015 and 2016, he had a very good innate intuitive sense of what to hammer away on, what to leave alone, right? He knew how to walk the tightrope that is national politics to get enough of a following to get his ass into the White House. He has better political instincts than most of the idiots on the right. And one of the very few times he doesn't listen to his gut and he goes with his idiot sons, now look at what's happening. So it keeps getting worse for him. And look, guys, I genuinely think he hurts the ticket. He genuinely hurts the ticket because he's underwater in his favorability rating. That's unheard of after somebody becomes the VP pick. That's unheard of. He's underwater. And so he's probably thinking about switching him out. That would be hilarious. I would love to see that just for the lols. But actually, no, I don't want to see that because he really, really makes it more likely that they will fail miserably. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.